Back in the studio, we'll be talking about the International Day for Persons with Disability, which the celebration started in 1992 to promote and raise issues around people living with disabilities. And we have in the studios this morning a parent and, of course, a person living with cerebral palsy. Now we have Air Vice Marshal Femi Gbadebo, who is a parent. Thank you so much for being here this morning. We also have Dada Olawale, an adult living with palsy. Thank you so much for being here. And we have Mrs. Alaba Gbadebo, also a parent. Thank you for being here. Okay, we're talking about International Day for Persons Living with Disability. And in Nigeria, what do you think is the situation when it comes to people living with disability? How is the situation?
It's still very bad. From where I sit, we're living in a country that does not understand disability. Because, you see, when you talk disability from government down to any level, we're looking at clear, visible things like vision impairment, hearing impairment, obvious loss of limbs and stuff like that. But disability goes way beyond that. And that has resulted in a situation where when government, private sector and individuals say they're doing something about disability, they're providing wheelchairs, walking stick, canes for the blind, and it just ends about there. But when you consider the wide range of disabilities that are out there, then you know that we need to do something about it. And when you consider the number of disabled people that are in this country, we've got over 25 million of them, and they're totally marginalized because of this lack of understanding of the situation that's out there.
Okay, so that the situation is not so bright in Nigeria for people living with disability. Let me talk to Dada. You've been living with palsy for how long?
Well, officially I was diagnosed 2007 after my NYC. Actually did NYC. I did the endurance trek, but suddenly I noticed my leg was caving in. I couldn't stand for long. So I came out to be deployed to Lagos, went for the test, and after much examination, I was told I have cerebral palsy.
At what age? At what time? You would think that cerebral palsy starts from childhood.
Well, from the history, they had to go into my medical history, and they realized at a tender age, I think at 3, I had a severe measles, which after our treatment, they just thought that was all. 2000, I have a near death. In fact, I won't say near death. Just for the sake of English, I'll say near death. I believe I passed out. God just brought me back. But that's another problem with Nigeria. In an accident situation, we just scan broken bones. We don't go what's the head damage and other. I think that contributed to this.
So you had an accident?
I had an accident 2000.
Okay.
What has, how would you say you've been able to manage your life since the diagnosis?
Well, being an enterprising person and with the aid of social media, I've been doing fine. I run 3 enterprises on myself through social media. So it's quite easy for me. I have a BBM channel, I have a Facebook page I use, I have a BBM channel. So
you don't fall into that group that Air Vice Marshal Gbadebo is talking about?
Oh, well, luckily, maybe because of my education and enlightenment. I'm even a junior sales consultant. Though Junior doesn't know that.
But out there, what do you see of other people who are living with disabilities?
Well, I pity myself also, because we find an environment where you go out there trying to be yourself, be independent, and yes, all sorts. You hear, can't you stay at home? Is it a must? The facial expression is killing. I mean, you just, I almost committed suicide the day I went on, I took a bike. I love bikes now. I took a bike and the bike man was like, I can take you to one Baba. All you need is anesthesia. I was like, why do we have all this in Africa? You should go beyond that. You should go, but that's a challenge we face. We've attached so much spiritual emphasis. So many people having it, they keep it and they are silent. They die silent in depression. And that's sad.
Mrs. Gbadebo, does the fact that one has a disability, does it mean the person ceases to exist?
Oh, definitely not. It's not the end of life, because there's ability in disability. Dada is here. If you have good parents, if you have good family that supports you, we have a whole lot of them that are graduates, they have their master's degree. Some cannot walk, some are in wheelchair. But if you've come from a good family and if your family supports you, then the sky is the limit. We have a lady in Ghana, Farida, who is a millionaire. She has cerebral palsy because she developed a software that only she has. And you know, there are lots of them in Nigeria too that are doing well. But you know, because of the stigma in Africa, especially, and also in Nigeria, a lot of people hide their children who have disability. And that is one thing that we've never done. I've never hidden my son. He's 19. Never, because I realized it's not his fault. Neither is it my fault. I went to the best hospital. I was learned, you know, I had everything. My husband was a fighter pilot. We were young, you know. He's the last child, by the way. So, if you have a good family and enlightened, and they help you, the sky is the limit for you. But there are different degrees. I always tell Dada, Toby, Uche, we have them in Benola, that you are the lucky ones. My son is totally dependent. He's 19. He has a few words. He's wheelchair bound. He has, like now, he has 24-hour care because he has a lot of medical issues. So some are lucky. The disability is mild. Then you can go to school. We have professors who have cerebral palsy. You know, we have people with master's degree. But if it is not mild, if it is serious like my son, and my son is even better than some, because some people with cerebral palsy, or we deal with cerebral palsy, so you have them with the brain damage. Some are blind, some are deaf with it, some have scoliosis, the turning of the spine. Like my son has dislocated hips. We were advised to leave it because he's not going to walk anyway. So why do you have to subject him to the pains and rigors of surgery again? A lot of them have, you know, they have to go through a lot of surgeries.
So people will be watching you. Perhaps they have children like this that you've mentioned, and they're thinking, oh,